Dean Volution. Welcome to another edition of Shooting Plink. Today we've got another American tactical gun with us, and no, it's not the German sport gun like I've been using with the GSG-16. This is actually an ATI, and it's called an Alpha15, and I'll show it to you. It's the lower end market for the AR style guns, and it's very lightweight, and well, I'm going to show it to you. Here it is right here. The strap, no, that does not. The sling here, that does not come with it. I have added this up here, and this is all metal area. This is plastic in here, but it's lightweight. It's about I think 5.52 pounds. That's empty. Load her up, and she's around 6 pounds, maybe 6.25, something like that. It comes with a 30-round magazine. It's the polymer type magazine. It loads very easy. You don't have to, it's in there right now. No rounds in it, that's for sure. We'll pop that out because I'm going to be wanting to show you a few things. I've had people look at this that are in law enforcement, gun collectors, NRA instructors, see what they think of it. I'll tell you right now, their first impression is it's a cheap gun. Yes. Once you look at a few things, you will see that, and we're going to go over the features that I do and I don't like. It does have naturally this stack here where you can adjust it to about 6 positions each one. You know, the sling, you may wonder, why would I use that sling? Well, right here you can see I use it for shooting, just like this. And while we're looking down the sights, you got this one rail. These are not Magpul sights. They're not pop-up sights otherwise. They're lift-up sights, and I'll go into that. But first, why I'm not lifting them up, I want to show you. And this is worthless. See that little notch sight here, and you got a little one up here in the front? You can't use it. No way. The only way you could use it is like this, and you know what's going to happen? That's going to whack you right in the cheek. There's no two ways out of it. So, it's a lift-up sight. Not too bad to do it for the front. The back, I've got a problem with this, and I'll show you why. Okay, we're going to lift this up, and you notice I reached into here to do it. The reason being is if I had this sighted in, which I do not, and we're going to be sighting it at 50 yards. No, we're not going to do any shooting today. This has got actually 3 sights in one. It's got a notch sight right up here on top of this one. It's got, this is the small opening of the peep. You want a ghost opening, you just flip this around like this, and you got a ghost opening for your peep, which is good for about any range, especially if you're going to end up having to shoot close. If you're hunting or what, this thing is not going to be used for hunting, and I'll tell you why then I'm using, or I want to use, smaller magazines. Anyway, this at this point then it's ready. But here's the thing. Okay, say if I get this all the windage, because this is where you adjust your windage. What happens if I get that adjusted in and I go to flip it up, and when I do, I'm going to flip it down and show you what I mean. You notice I keep holding right in the middle. Here's your adjustments. You go to flip that up, and you grab this and you flip it up and you hit those and you knock it off a little bit. It don't take a lot to knock your windage off, especially if you're shooting competition for bullseyes. If you're shooting it for speed, it doesn't make as much difference, except for the fact you still don't want it way off where you miss the target. Because as you know, shooting Plink is target shooting and competition type ranges and that sort of thing. So we're not looking at the hunting aspect of it. We're looking at hitting that target right. And with that, like I said, I'd rather have a Magpul sight where you'd push on the button, but this is probably one of the spots that they save a little bit of money. That and the fact that this is all plastic. The upper, you got a lot of metal to that, and I'm going to show you how you take this thing apart. But just briefly on the magazines, I said this is a 30-round magazine. Some states don't allow that, so you have to have a 10-round magazine. In my case, why would I like 10s and 5s? Well, again, it's because of shooting Plink. A lot of times you only use 5 rounds. And yes, you'll have more magazines if you're going to slap them in, or you're going to stop and load. Either way. But when I was in the military, when we first were handed our M16s at that time, we were given a 5-round magazine. And that was because that's all you shot at the time, was 5. And, you know, and then of course you went with the 10. But in this case, I kind of like the 5s because of the fact that I am just, well, if I'm sighting in, I might want to fire 5 rounds. And it also makes it lighter weight. And it makes it shorter, because if you had this out here, and depending on how you were sighting it in, I do have my new table built, and the longer magazine will kind of get in the way, so that when I'm, because I don't do like other people with them, I actually adjust my sights so that I can shoot freestanding. So I'm kind of sub freestanding when I'd use this table. It's up so that I can stand. And the reason being is if I'm target shooting, or if I would go into a competition or something, you're not, in most cases, not laying down or anything, especially if you're doing it in a quick, I guess you'd say cowboy style, combat style in this case, or whatever. You're just, you got to be able to do it that way. So, and I've always shot that way. I was taught to shoot freestanding. So now we're going to talk about, instead of all this, we're going to talk about this gun. Now here's the safety too. It is not an ambidextrous safety. You cannot switch it both ways, but it is easy to reach. But over here, you'll see that little arrow. I think it's right here. See that arrow? Now that thing, when I take it off of safety, there it is right there. You can see it on that side, but there's absolutely no indication on any of this thing where it says safe or unsafe. In fact, over here, the only thing you got is pictures. Obviously, it's made for people that can read or something. But right there, you got your picture with the X through it, and you got it here so that you know that, okay, you can fire it and it's ready to fire, whatever. But the thing I like about this is the teardown. Now some of these you tear them down. We're going to put these back down. There. Some of these you tear them down, and you've got a few parts that you can lose out there, including the holding pins. This one you don't. And I've got this tool here that's my field tool, like for the range. It's really handy, with, especially with this point. I'll put that in there on that pin, and those pins are right here, by the way. You can see one here, and there's one right up here. So you take that and you poke it out just like that. All right. A lot of them, if you do that, that pin would come out, right? You know, well, this one didn't. Now you got this one, and you got to get it just right. There we go. Now we'll take that, make sure they're pulled out far enough. They are, and we will take it loose just like that. No problem. Now, say you want to clear something up in here, clean it for some reason, and speaking of cleaning, always clean your gun before you ever fire it. When you get a new gun, clean it. Why? Because there's normally some sort of rust proofing in here. Your best accuracy is going to be with a clean barrel. And when you're sighting in, definitely make sure that it's cleaned out. Have your best accuracy. Now, on this, we will slide this all out. And we don't have any parts other than these two right here. That's it. You got your charger lever, and it just hooks right on here. I'll lay this down so I can show you. There it is right there. That's all there is to it. Just right there. You can get at this thing. You put that back on there. You make sure that she's in place, because you're going to put that back in here, of course. And I've got this well lubricated. One of the gentlemen that looked at it, he says, man, that thing's hard to pull in that charging handle. I says, because I haven't lubricated it yet. And there was next to no lubrication. Now, here you get it lined up in here, and you put it in just like this. You make sure that's locked in place. The bolt is in place. Everything's there, ready to go. And here's what I like to do with this. I take it, and we put it in like this. Take this right there, this little thing here, and line it up just like this. And what I'll do is, once I line it up, here, put it in place. Now she's free flowing. I'll put that down, goes in place like that, and put the bolt, or this little fastening pin. Make sure they're both in place. Look over on this side when you do that. Make sure you can see them just extending out just a little ways, or you might have even heard them click when you put that in. And here's your dust cover, by the way, and that'll slide down. So now she's ready to go, and you can tell that thing's really lubricated up. It's a lot different than it first was. Even those pins were stiff, and getting them in and out I had a hard time. So you definitely want to lubricate up your guns before you start shooting them. This sort of gun, without a doubt. And clean the barrel, clean everything in here, lubricate up the bolt good, make sure that she's sliding real good like that, and it will lock open, of course. I'll show you that. Okay, you pull this down and she locks open. In order to release that, you pull it around here. You have your right here. Some of them you can push on like that and it will automatically release it. Others are a little bit sticky. You have to go back here, hold the bolt, and then hit it. But in this case, this one's working great, probably because I've already got it lubed, for one thing. And that's about all there is to it. It's got, of course, your assist right here, just like any other AR type based gun. And by the way, AR does not stand for assault rifle or automatic rifle, even though a lot of people think it does. It stands for the original manufacturer of them, which now Colt owns the rights to AR. And that's Armalite rifles. That's what it is, Armalite rifles. And an AR-7, which a lot of people don't think about, was American rifle. And Henry now owns the rights to that with their survival one. Just some facts to throw out to you, because everybody seems like they're awful confused on what AR means. Anyway, that's what this is. This is an Alpha15, an ATI Alpha15 made in South Carolina. And next time that we get this out, we're going to be shooting it. And I think what I'm going to do, I'm not 100% sure, and I am thinking about putting a Fiace red green dot on here. Again, not 100% sure, but I would like to actually sight it in with you there. But again, I'm not 100% sure on that either. And we're going to be a little bit shooting before we shoot this out at Cedar Oaks. We got some other things to do and straighten out. So until next time, shoot safe and have a great day of plinking.